Okay, so I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Conservation Commission and Inland Wetland Agency on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. It's 6:03. Alexis, can you do the roll call?
Certainly. Cheryl Brown,
Here.
Catherine Knight,
Here.
Heather Breslin,
Here.
Ed Hollowinko.
Here.
All right, so you do have 4 commissioners. I believe that's all that can be attending this evening, but you do have a quorum.
Okay. All right, so do we have anybody here for the public comment part?
No, you don't.
Okay, all right, so I guess we will move on to receipt and discussion. S24-639 10 Range Road, D. Bradinis, and I'm apologize.
That's okay. D. Baradinas.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right, so I know that we got a memorandum about this project. Do you want to start, Alexis, or?
Sure. So this is a proposed pool at 10 Range Road. 10 Range Road is one of the houses that has recently been constructed under a 2016 wetland permit that was transferred to the current owner and applicant about a year ago, maybe a little more than that. There are wetlands in the rear, the eastern rear of the property. And that's kind of my quick synopsis. The wetland is within the pool is within the wetlands upland review area. Hence why it's before you tonight. And applicant, I can either share my screen or you can do a presentation.
Me?
Yeah. Would you like to share your screen, or would you like?
You could share your screen. That's
Okay.
fine. Your screen's probably better than mine.
And I see Commissioner Knight has her hand raised.
Yep. Commissioner Knight, do you have your hand raised?
Hi, unless I don't know if we're seeing something different than what was on the website in the initial email that you sent out, Alexis. But I just wanted to point to clarifying the Norwalk Building Code of 102-3, which says that all swimming pools shall not encroach on any front or side yard. Well, this isn't a wetland purview per se, but it does have to do with zoning. So right now it shows the pool in the side yard. So I'm not sure whether that's compliant with Norwalk Building Code. To raise that.
Okay. It has not yet been reviewed for zoning, I don't think. But I can certainly refer it for a zoning review and then have them look at it. So applicant, you may want to do what you're doing for the adjacent house, which is go ahead and file for your zoning permit for the pool so that it can be fully vetted in case there's any non-compliant zoning issues. We can catch those before wetland decision. But
yeah, I'm not sure whether there's much merit because we'd need to see like the flood zones. If it's not allowed in the side yard, we're going to expend a lot of time.
There is no flood zone, and they said if it's with 50 feet beyond the property line, that's I know these new regulations are very difficult and they're all interpreted differently, but as we discussed, and I've been to planning and zoning several times, and we went through the book, and they're saying that, as we understand, you could have 50, the pool would have to be 50 feet beyond from the property line, and that's what it shows. It's 50 feet 6 inches. And the property is it's very sloped, so it's a very difficult property.
Okay, well, if you have spoken with zoning and they indicated that it could be in the side yard, is that, did you have that discussion with them?
Yes, we did.
Okay, why don't you show us what you have and, you know, maybe you can visit with zoning and start that application per Alexis's.
I've already put the application in for zoning also.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
them.
Okay, good.
Because
So
it's
that-
actually a Connecticut code, so it would have to be a variance in the Norwalk zoning regulations. So it's from the Connecticut State Building Code. But anyways, so I'm kind of surprised.
Um. Okay,
Also,
but
this,
I mean, you
Well,
can
well-
look it up. It's 102-3 locations. All swimming pools shall not encroach on any front or side yard by the basic building code of the state of Connecticut. So, you know,
all right. Um.
is
we
this, sorry,
certainly
to
look into that.
this, it's a water course?
So it's a
No.
wetland. So this is the wetland here. So this is 73 Witch Lane or 6
Range Road. now.
Range Road. This is just uphill. Let's see if I can go to. Too many things open.
I'm just looking at a map and that's,
Actually, let me do. Let's just do this.
I think the stream's about 100 feet from, it's more of a rocky area and trees. There's no real wet property there, wetlands.
Yeah.
I mean, there
so
are wetlands, bushes and things, but
Right. So this is definitely a wetland here. And then there is a water course just off the property
Okay.
to the east. This house was approved with a 15-foot buffer between when the house was built. So this is a demarcation wall. It's roughly 15 feet from the wetland limit line. It gets a little closer at this corner. The pool is proposed within the what is now lawn area. One thing that I would recommend to the applicant is realigning this demarcation wall so that it aligns with whatever it ends up being on.
yeah, that's not an issue. That's easy enough. Yeah.
And so you have this survey where the pool and a patio is shown, and then you've submitted topographic map. You indicate on your narrative that 60 cubic yards of material would be excavated.
Correct.
And no fill would be brought on to the site. Would any of that 60 cubic yards be removed from the site?
I don't think so because it's such a slope. We need it for backfill.
You need it for backfill. So you would
Yes.
be,
Because the pool would almost in the back, the area that faces the wetlands, there is it's going to be an engineered wall basically, and that's the pool. So the back of the pool is probably going to be 8 feet high to the base of the ground, and then it's going to work your way back into the slope.
okay, so what
I don't think there'll be any removal of any dirt.
okay. So what might be helpful is some more information, because right now the kind of the boxes don't really convey that
Mhm.
condition, and I know that you verbally have described it to me in the office. But some maybe elevation information regarding if you have elevation.
Like I could draw you an elevation of the pool itself and then show you the wall heights.
Yes, that would be helpful. or a
Mhm.
cross-section coming through, just so that the commission can better understand what exactly you're proposing as far as the grading needed to get the pool in.
Well, there wouldn't be much grading at all. Basically, what would happen is there is a grading. Did I send you the other?
So you sent me this one, which is the survey, and it has a
Right.
silt fence here as your limit of disturbance, the pool,
Oh, I
the
didn't send
equipment,
you
and the patio, and then you have the
Oh, that's the one I'm
um,
looking for. Yeah.
topo. So this was the proposed topo for the house, but it
Mhm.
doesn't show proposed topo related to the pool and patio.
Because,
think.
well, okay. If we start in the back, it's 38 feet, 40 feet, 42, 44 as we go forward. The rear where it says 38 feet, that pool wall in the rear is going to be 8 feet tall. And then that's the height of the pool. And then it's going to slope. The final grade of the top of the pool, I believe, is 46 feet tall. So that's where the patio would be. So obviously, if we have 8 foot grade in the back, we're at 46. Because you're at 38 foot to the base of the bottom of the pool. 8 feet up would be your 46, and then it's going to come back. So that we're not changing any grade at all. It's just going to I guess the walls are just going to taper along the grade of the pool, or the grade of the slope.
So you're gonna have a wall here and then a tapered wall here.
Right.
And
The
then
pool's
you're
going to
gonna
be
get-
obviously, 6 or 7 feet deep. And then the back wall where it says 38 feet, that back wall will be the total height. The finished height would be 46 feet. And that 46 foot would go all the way around the pool.
All right, so maybe, I think the commission would need to have that in writing. in
Okay.
some-
Yeah, and I think Commissioner Knight has a
I think
question.
we would also need to see where you're planning on putting the fence for the pool as well as the pool equipment and, where
Yeah,
the-
we have the pool equipment shows on the back right corner. It shows it on the first plan that Alexis had. It says pool equipment's right there in the red in the back right corner.
Oh, that's pool EQ's equipment.
Yes, yes.
So then the pool fence.
So you have a zoning variance for this, correct?
I'm not aware of a zoning variance because I've been going back and forth to planning and zoning, not make sure, but just see if this would even be possible. And they were, this is what we came up with.
Okay, so does anybody else have any questions about this plan? I think I would like to, Alexis, can you tell us what the plantings are like in the buffer? Are they robust?
They moderately. So this is it's actually a great point. So you can see the cross hatching here. There was a lot line revision. So when the house was built, the lot line was approximately here. An applicant, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
And then
We added 25 feet to this property.
right. So this area here does not have any enhanced vegetated buffer. So I'd say that there's definitely an opportunity in this area to have a buffer installed. Because other than just the stone wall, the boulders, there's very little here.
Okay.
Yep. So some sort of landscaping.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments at this point? So I think what we need is confirmation from zoning that, the pool is the location is something that can be built with or without a variance. And we can go from there. I would like to see some plantings.
Sure.
When you pull the boulder wall back, there's going to be some opportunities in there.
Sure.
Um,
So yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what P and Z says, and then if they tell me it's workable or doable, then when I get that answer, then I could, I'll adjust the boulders, and then I'll add some, have the landscape architect put some native plants in that area.
yeah, and some spot elevations and the
Yep.
cross section.
Sure.
Obviously those are all things to do once you are confirmed that, we do
Right.
have an opportunity for a pool here. So,
Okay,
okay,
right.
great.
perfect.
Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so we can move on to discussion and or decision. The first one is S 24-623 35 Weatherbell Drive. I know that he had mentioned that he may or may not be able to attend. So I
Yeah,
thought
I
I
think
just
that was
saw
at
him.
the, I think that was at thought that the meeting was on the 7th. So that was yep. So he is here tonight.
Okay. I-
So,
He's here?
Mike,
I don't
yep,
see him.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Here I am. Yep,
Sorry.
Still at work.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Sorry, Alexis, for my email last week. It was not a fun night.
so maybe
Alright.
you can give us an update.
Okay, so the update is I'm waiting on the report. I had Jim McManus came out on the 1st, correct? And he looked things over. Jay Fain had also come out. I didn't know he was going to come. And they discussed everything. The determination was from them that the delineation line is correct. Jim did try to get into the ground in a few different locations and was not able to do that. They looked things over, walked all around, and their determination, and of course your determination might be something different. Their determination basically was that put some plantings in, and that should be fine. Again, that's
Kelly, if you're going to pee, you're to poop, go poo over there. Come on, get out.
Okay, they're muted.
that wasn't me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It's another.
So and Mr. Fain took a step further, and he said the northeast corner where the tree logs were, he said if you just put some plantings there, that should be plenty. The rest of it in both their minds is pretty much well to do as it is. They didn't see a need for a T2 survey. I did talk to Wayne Archimone. He should be able to come out the first or second week in June. I'm not sure of my schedule yet. So I have to get a deposit to him. Hopefully I'll have some time this week to get that to him, and then he can do what, sorry about that. Do what he needs to do to come out.
Okay, so you are having the property surveyed?
Well, I mean, that's one of the questions I had was, I mean, yes, I have to have the property surveyed anyway. But both Jim and Jay didn't feel a need for a T2 survey. And Alexis, I don't know if Wayne had reached out to you But he said it's it's a A2 survey and a T2 survey. I know we've had that question before. So he said, no, it's
Right.
a
So the-
A. Go
I mean,
ahead.
the T2 provides topographic information. And when there's filling, it's certainly helpful for the commission to understand the grade and but
They didn't think from what they said, and I don't have it in writing yet. So, but what they said was the grade basically didn't matter. Maybe
Yeah,
it does,
I
maybe it
think
doesn't.
we would like the A1, T2 survey.
A2, T2. I
A2,
know we
yeah,
all
there's
we
no
all get
twos.
them confused.
A1, T2.
It's the same sauce, yeah.
Yeah, I think that that is something that, unless anybody else here has, comment about that, but I think that that would be important considering, there is fill in there.
Right, and they, you know, they, again, they said basically, it's your money, you can spend it however you want, but they determined that it was not worth the going through the expense of that. I'd rather put it into plantings, to be honest with you, but I mean,
But
it's
just
your
be aware
prerogative.
that it is it can be application requirements.
Right.
I
No,
think
I
that's,
understand that. And I'll leave it up to you, obviously. So again, I don't know where we are as far as time goes, but
yeah, so
and
the agency has to take certain actions within statutory timeframes, and you did give a 65-day extension of time.
Mhm.
But let me just confirm real quick. But the commission would need to make a decision that
I
so
think
one
it
of
was
the things
early
that the commission
June.
hasn't determined is whether the proposed or the application rather warrants a significant regulated activity or can stay an intermediate regulated activity. One of the reasons why they hadn't made that determination was that they still haven't, they're waiting for kind of clear evidence that the wetland itself wasn't filled. Typically, any activity within a wetland itself gets bumped up to a significant regulated activity. The other thing that bumps it up to a significant regulated activity is the volume of fill, and that was the other component of information that the agency is lacking. So, commissioners, your the deadline to either make a decision without considering it a significant regulated activity is your June 11th meeting, or June 11th is your deadline to hold a public hearing, and a public hearing would be required if you were to determine that it is a significant regulated activity. If it is a significant regulated activity, there are a few things that you would need to do at your March 28th meeting. So on your March 28th meeting, you would need to make that determination, schedule a public hearing, and in advance of that, the applicant would need to pay the additional fee that's associated with a significant regulated activity. when you determine that something's a significant regulated activity, there's some additional information that the applicant has to provide, in particular, a discussion of alternatives and that any alternatives that are prudent and feasible that have lesser impact on the wetland and water course. You haven't really received a primary site plan, let alone a alternative site plan yet. So if it is a significant regulated activity, that needs to be determined, preferably this evening, so that then you can schedule the public hearing at your next meeting or at this meeting, so that the public hearing can commence on June 11th. Once the public hearing is open, you have 35 days to hold the public hearing open, and then it will have to close, and then you have some time to make a decision.
Commissioner Knight, you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I guess, we were hoping to get the information so that we could make a determination, but we've had two people come out. We haven't seen anything written down from the second person that came out, but it sounds like they're having challenges because of the significant volume of fill that was put down onto the property in terms of accessing, from my understanding, from why it's difficult for them to even attempt to do soil analysis. So it just sounds like by default, the fact that the volume of fill that is potentially fill in a wetland, not just in the review area in terms of the activity, that it's sounding like it's significant. I don't know, Alexis, if that's kind of what we're hearing. To me, it sounds significant then, if they can't even do soil analysis.
Well, if I may, they can't get into the ground in what along the delineation line as it is, and they feel that if they were to try to get into the ground anywhere else, they might not be able to, not from the fill, but because of the type of material that's there. Again, the deepest that Jim McManus was able to get was 10 inches, and he couldn't make the determination. So I don't know what exactly they used, but the two of them discussed it at length, and they determined that the wetlands were not encroached upon. The fill in that area did not encroach into the wetlands, and that the fill has basically no impact on the wetlands itself. That's what it sounded like to me. I'm waiting to get that information back from Jim.
It seems like we're lacking information to make an informed decision at this point. Alexis, even if the fill is in the upland area, isn't there like that's part of the regulations regarding fill, if the fill is, and so it seems like what we need is somebody to figure out how much fill was placed on this. We need to see in writing what the wetland scientists have found as well. I don't know. I'm feeling like we can't make a decision whether this is significant right now.
Was the survey, wasn't part of the goal of a survey to determine the fill area and the fill amount based on the dimensions?
And depth, right?
Yep, in depth.
So, and that would be the T2 survey. And what is the ETA on them getting out to do the survey work?
The first or second week in June.
So
We're not going to be able to know.
it sounds to me like you still have an incomplete application, and
Oh, you
Um,
froze.
I think the agency has the choice of setting a making the determination tonight that it is a significant regulated activity. That would then trigger a public hearing. With the public hearing then would need to start on June 11th, but then the applicant would have 35 days to complete the record with a plan. And so just keep in mind that it's not just the survey. The survey is going to show today's existing conditions. And then from that survey, from that information, the commission is going to want to see a site plan that shows some kind of plan for remediating the impacts to the wetland. And whether that's removal of some of the fill or plantings, we don't know that yet. But the commission will also be looking for a wetland assessment from either, I think both Mr. McManus and Mr. Fain are professional wetland scientists, and they can speak to the impacts and the adequacy of the proposed mitigation. But the proposed mitigation will need to be shown on a site plan as well. And all that
And-
will need to be provided to the commission before their statutory timelines end. So it doesn't sound like you're going to have a complete application by June 11th. When June 11th comes, if they determine that it's not a significant regulated activity tonight, and then their decision deadline is June 11th, when June 11th comes, staff will have to advise them that they don't have enough information to make a decision, and they will be forced to, well, they won't be forced to, they can make, at the end of the day, they make their own decisions. But it would be the staff's recommendation that it be denied for incompleteness just because there isn't enough information by June 11th. And then you would have to reapply again. Just let you know what you're up against.
And what is the, Alexis, just to clarify, if
Mhm.
is there an option, what is the option of we can't determine whether there was significant, what do we, there is no option there?
So you can certainly determine that it, from based on the limited information that you have so far, that it is a significant regulated activity. Is that what you're asking?
I'm just saying if we don't have the information to even make the decision of whether it's a significant regulated activity, we then default to it is because that gives us the timeline, or what do we?
So, yeah, I mean, so your options are,
Sorry, just trying to
tonight,
fully understand what, because I
right?
feel like that's
I'm
the
trying to
premise of
understand
this
it
is we
too.
don't know whether it's a significant,
Right.
I mean, based on the limited information, it sounds significant because the cause of why they're saying they can't get down, which is the fill. So there's whatever's in the fill or has been filled is preventing them from getting down to do the
Mm,
soil analysis.
The,
That's what I
the,
understand.
the property, as far as I know, when it was first built, was filled in. And I think they're calling that the old fill. And that is very extremely rocky. I mean, I lived on the hill in Beacon Street, and I know what rocky is. And there's also a lot of tree roots and stuff in there. And their determination is that I think the property slopes up in there somewhere along the stones. And to get into the ground is next to impossible. I think Jim took 4 or 5 areas and he tried to get into the ground.
With a hand auger.
Yeah, with the hand auger. I mean, I have some pictures somewhere. And it was 10 inches was the deepest he could get. There's there's no way to get into the ground there. And,
So Commissioner Breslin, just going back to the timelines. So when, anytime there's a wetland application, there's statutory timelines for
Yep.
making a decision. And the state
Yep.
statutes was set up so to protect applicants so that the commission doesn't kind of never act on something. For corrective action applications, it's often the case that an applicant isn't, they don't foresee having to make a wetland application because often they've done an activity that obviously they didn't get a permit for, so they didn't think there was a permit. But corrective action always does take longer. But that's why within the statute, there is the opportunity for applicants to grant an extension of time
Mhm.
to the commission so that the commission isn't forced to either make a decision or to commence a public hearing within 65 days. An applicant can extend that for an additional 65 days. And so that's what the applicant has already done.
Right.
It's just that less progress in completing the application than usual has occurred, and we're now up against the final deadline. The state statutes kind of presume that an application, when submitted, is complete. So when an application is incomplete, when you don't have enough information to make a decision on it, let alone make a determination as far as the level that it warrants, you have a lot of latitude to deny that application due to incompleteness. So your options are you don't have to make any action tonight. Absolutely. There's nothing that has to happen tonight. But at your next meeting, you will have to make some decisions regarding whether it's a significant regulated activity and you want to schedule a public hearing for June 11th, or if you're going to kind of wait until June 11th and kind of see what you get and then make a decision.
would if I get Mr. Fain and Mr. McManus to write something up, would that be helpful for the commission as to their findings? I mean, I'm waiting on Mr. McManus.
Absolutely. If they're not working on that already, they should be. We have to have something in writing from them.
Yeah, I think,
Absolutely.
well, we have Mr. Fain's determination. We have his findings. I will reach out to them. I reach out to Mr. Fain again and see if he can write something up. And again, I'm waiting for Mr. McManus.
Okay, and I
Yeah,
would recommend
to visit
lining
another
up the
project.
survey company to do
This-
the T2 survey as well, the A1
Yeah,
and the
I
T2.
have his proposal. I just have to, as with the craziness here at work, find a minute to get a deposit off to him or down
I
or
get
to his
yourself on
office.
his docket sooner than later.
Yeah, well, I think he has me penciled in, so.
Okay, so I think you know what you need to do before the next meeting.
Yes.
And we'll see where we are next meeting.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Okay, so we're moving on to S 633 189 Perry Avenue, Carter. And I don't know if,
He's not here.
okay,
So he is also a corrective action application for installing drainage adjacent to a water course. He has retained a civil engineer who told him that he needs to get an updated survey. So the surveyor is going out this week finally. So he is he's engaged all these professionals professionals a while ago, but because of their schedule, they have not yet completed. Your decision deadline for him is your June 25th meeting. He has told me that he will absolutely have things in prior to that. So hopefully that
Okay.
means before the next meeting.
Okay, great. Then we have S24-63670 Cranberry Road, with Land Tech.
And
Good
so,
evening.
Atlantic, at your previous, just to kind of give you a recap, at your previous meeting, the last meeting of April, there was some discussion with the applicant. You received a alternative plan with a 2-lot subdivision instead of 3. There was ensuing discussion regarding the potential impacts, particularly the future impacts with having double the amount of lots with the 2-lot subdivision. The applicant has returned with a additional plan showing a 50-foot designated buffer from the pretty much all wetlands on the property, overlaying on that 2-lot subdivision plan. And so I guess applicant, if you want to make a quick.
Sure. So 5 weeks ago we were here, and I think we tabled the 3-lot and pivoted to the 2-lot. And at that time, I think the commission asked staff to draft the resolution for approval. 3 weeks ago, that resolution was presented, and there was discussion on it. So what we did was basically add those conditions now to the plan and we could show you now what that looks like, and how we feel strongly that this property now will be protected in the future. So what we did was, as Alexis mentioned, 50 feet from the wetlands on site, we have demarcated that line with 2-man boulders, we like to call them, which are basically moved by machinery, and you kind of bury them half into the ground, and it demarcates along that whole wetland boundary where that is. Right behind that boulder demarcation, and you could see that's this whole hatched area, right? We just left a little bit of area here actually for the access. And then these whole hatched areas is that non-disturbance buffer zone. So nothing can happen within this hatched area on the property. No drainage, no grading, no nothing can happen within that. I think a lot of the concern was, okay, now we subdivide this and build 2 homes, and new owners come in, and now they start encroaching onto the wetlands and the such. So what we did here was propose these boulders, bury them into the ground, really demarcate that 20 feet on center along this entire boundary. Right behind that, again, in earlier renditions, you saw a landscaping plan, and a lot of those landscapings were up against the wetlands. What we did now was pull all that landscaping close to this boulder demarcation and really create a wooded shrubbery along that boundary, with further prohibit encroachment into that buffer. And lastly, as part of the, as we move through this process and do our subdivision application to planning and zoning, this map will be filed on the land record. So any transfer of this property in the future, any owner will know that this buffer exists and they cannot go in here and disturb within that 50 feet. Can they walk in it? For sure, but it's supposed to be you can mow it once or twice a year type thing. And it's supposed to, no removal. Anything you go to do in this buffer will obviously require commission approval, but it's really a protection zone. So what I also did on this map was kind of hatch the area. In yellow here, you'll see lot 1, and this is really within the 50-foot to the property line. This line here is again that 100-foot watercourse setback. And then these dashed lines are really the building for zoning purposes where you can actually build a house. So you can build a house within this envelope. But you can put drainage and the such outside of it. So that was really to depict how much land you can actually use to develop this property with bringing in utilities and bringing in the necessary drainage infrastructure required. The house would sit within this envelope and similarly here within this envelope. So that's essentially what the conditions, I think the condition originally said 40-foot non-disturbance buffer. As discussions at the last hearing, we pushed it to 50. We heard some commissioners say we were comfortable more with a 50-foot buffer. So this is where we landed with our proposal for this 2-lot. And again, as each one of these lots get developed, if they encroach within 100 foot of the water course or 50 feet of the wetlands, which they can't on this map, it would require this commission's further review of that. Brian, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
No, I think one of the things, the reason why we went with a buffer over an easement is just the complication that would give the future homeowners regarding this pond and the maintenance of the pond itself, to try to get through the conservation easement process. There is a small outlet here that obviously requires maintenance in the future. We did not evaluate that as part of the application. But again, at some point in the future that will need to be maintained. So that's why we didn't go with a full conservation easement. We did, the amount of plantings on the plan is similar to what was being proposed as part of the 3-lot division. So we did not reduce any of the buffer plantings, even though we reduced the amount of lots that are being proposed. And again, I think Andy said, but the property will be serviced with city sewer and city water. So there's no septic impact to any of the adjacent wetlands. So overall, based on the alternatives we provided, we feel like this is the most feasible and prudent alternative based on impact in comments from the commission.
Just quick clarifying question. Andy, you had said that with this plan that nothing, when they go to the stage for planning the homes, that nothing could be built within the 50 or 100 foot, but just to clarify, that orange line is the 100.
Yeah, it's within 50 feet.
Okay, I think it's all right.
Right. 50 feet of the wetland.
And just out of curiosity, that the dotted orange bottom on the second lot, that is a setback.
This is the building setback from a zoning
Yeah.
perspective.
Okay, that's what I.
So
yeah,
then
thank
that
you.
would be your developable area where I'm tracing now
Yep, thanks.
for a house. Yeah.
Would you be able to zoom in on the plant list for me?
Sure.
And is it just trees and shrubs?
There's actually a conservation wetland mix that will be added in the buffer area as well.
Okay. Okay, can you go back to the trees and shrubs as well?
So everything we've basically requested are not cultivars, they're all native species that are readily available at the nursery stock.
Okay. And this would all be implemented by the current owner? This is not something that would be implemented by somebody who was looking to develop the individual property owners. This is going to be done within 2 years.
This would have to be done before any redevelopment of the lots.
Okay. Okay,
That-
and
that-
field replacing.
That could be a condition of the approval.
Okay,
Generally, you would have that done, and then we would have all the plantings done as part of the subdivision approval. And then the individual lots would not do the plantings themselves, other than the landscape plantings up around the individual houses or structures.
Good question, Cheryl. Thank you, because I keep getting confused between the future pretend state that's not involved in this and
yeah, yeah,
So, and I did include a revised staff report to you guys on the dated the 9th. And it does have, so it would require that the buffer be planted, that there be a associated bond with the subdivision, and that the planting plan would have to be implemented either within 2 years of the date of filing the subdivision map on the land records, or prior to the issuance of any permits to develop either lot.
okay. Great. Does anyone have any other questions? Commissioner Knight?
Hi, I just wanted to say, thank you. I really appreciate the effort that's gone into this. I know it's been a lot of back and forth on the proposals, but I think that, you know, I appreciate the time and effort, because once this gets developed, you can't really claw it back. And so it's important for us, given the sensitivity of the environment, that we think very carefully and make sure that it's appropriately protected and also appropriately developed for utilization in the town. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any other comments? Okay, well, if there are no other comments, we did get a resolution. So, did everybody have a chance to look it over? Okay, I'll make a motion, for, the resolution as written on the memorandum. Sorry, I forget all the words that I'm supposed to say for this.
Right.
Memorandum dated May 9th, 2024, regarding, application S24-63670 Cranberry Road from Land Tech. Do I have a second?
I'll
I'll-
second. Oh, sorry.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. It looks like we have
Thank you all.
4
Thank you.
in favor, so.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Okay,
night.
yep, thank you very
You-
much for your attention to detail on this.
Perseverance.
Yeah.
Have a good night, Harvey.
You, good night. So. Sorry, I seem to have lost my agenda. There it is.
That's quite,
So, all right, well, moving on to S24-637-73 Witch Lane. Wait, why is this
No.
up again?
Back again.
Yeah.
Is that a typo?
no, that's
Oh.
correct.
Oh,
Which Lane
okay.
is also known as
Proceed.
6 Range Road.
Okay, okay,
Same applicant.
okay, great.
So this is the proposed single family house on the corner of Range Road and Witch Lane. And I'll make the presumption that I will share my screen for the applicant. Hold on a second. And then, so it was in a lot of meetings today. Mark, I saw that you emailed me at around 1 o'clock today, and I have
Yes.
not yet posted what you sent me, but I'll find that if we need to.
That's basically
So-
the same thing. It just showed, because the plant list, you know, the landscape plan, it's all the
Yes.
same. The house is just flipped now.
Yeah, we'll go over that. So there's Witch
Mhm.
Lane, and then at the bottom of the page is Range Road. When the plans that you saw originally had the driveway and garage on this side of the house, there has been a lot of discussion in zoning with the new zoning regulations regarding the house facades and the frontage. And of course, a corner lot technically has its primary frontage and its secondary frontage, and it was determined that the driveway, really the garage, could not be facing the side that faces Witch Lane. So the applicant had to switch the location of the garage relative to the roads, and so the garage is now on this side. So the limit of disturbance, for the most part, I don't believe has changed. There's still a proposed 35-foot boulder demarcation from the wetland line until you get over here. So this is actually that wetland that's on the adjacent property at 10 Range Road. And this is where it currently gets a little close. It's about 9 feet from the wetland. Let me just pull up have to figure out where I can pull up what you sent me today. I have to stop. Well, let me just go back and just remember what we have posted. And so this was your landscaping plan that again had the 35-foot buffer. And then it was this pinch point kind of over here where it's less than 35 feet from this wetland area.
I mean, we could, you know, do the 30, we can make it the 35 feet everywhere.
And then I just wanted to, let me try to find. A second, I will download. You sent me, so I just. I see what you did. Okay, so then. This is what you emailed me today, I believe. Okay, so the house is, so you still have kind of your buffer planting plan. So I guess maybe it's a good opportunity for the commissioners to talk about kind of the general concept of having a 35-foot buffer and the areas of work.
Quick question, what is it?
Did you send me another plan besides this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But I saw something else.
Wait, did I send something? I
don't know.
no.
I'll have to
No.
double check. I thought I saw a
Oh, yeah,
revised-
it was the
stormwater
site plan. It was a site plan.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing and find that. What I would recommend you and I sit down in the office and make sure that when going through your landscaping plans, they seem to change. So the most recent one is more similar to the one kind of a while ago, and then you sent one that was slightly different. So I want to make sure that we have the same plant schedule and
Right.
understand what you're proposing, because I think
Yeah, it seems like you noticed that there were more plants in the plan.
Yeah, we're doing the one where
or
there's
8.
more plants than we originally
So with
offered.
the 8 trees and 45 shrubs.
Right. And we added the grasses. So we're
Okay.
doing the
I-
maximum, not the first plan we sent in, because then we changed it. We had we changed it to 35 feet and you asked for more shrubbery. So we added all the shrubbery. So it might have just got crossed.
yeah, so we just want to
Okay.
we'll make sure that we're that's consistent. And
What?
here's I'll just share my screen one more time. Here's the updated drainage plan that you sent.
Can someone explain the old wetland area where it said that?
That was a septic area.
Oh,
We have,
yes.
yep, yeah.
Yeah, so when in 2016, when the wetlands were delineated, there clearly is a wetland watercourse system. This is kind of the old ponded area and part of a larger wetland complex. And then when it was delineated, I think by Mr. Thiel, he said that this is technically had the chroma or the color of a hydric soil, and he mapped it as a disturbed wetland soil. But it is the area where the old septic was.
Okay, so that's what.
Yeah, so it must have been, probably not a great septic system that was
Some
old
kind
enough
of
that
wetland for
it
sure.
altered the soil.
Yeah, I think we sent the paperwork and all the scientific information on that.
Oh, yes, and then right, you had hired, I think it was Mary Yannick, who's a
Yes.
soil scientist, to reevaluate Mr. Thiel's delineation, and she determined that she would not qualify it as a wetland. And that is on, I believe, on the application, the list of the application documents on the webpage.
Thank
Do
you.
we have a plan showing like the erosion control?
Yep, it's on that site plan right there.
Okay, all right,
So
I'm
it
sorry,
would-
I'm just having trouble
yeah.
seeing the
So
line.
there's a lot of
Okay.
different plans. So I want to make sure that, so you have
There's a silt fence right there by the boulder. It's just kind of the straight line where your arrow is. Yep,
and then
right there.
this line.
No, it's behind the boulders.
Oh, right
the
here.
silt
Sorry.
fence, yes.
Here it is.
And then you also have the silt fence on where the old driveway was, right next to the wetlands. And that wraps around the whole property.
And then this goes here. Oops. Lost it again here. And then another layer here.
Mhm.
So I think that the main, I think that with the concurrent consideration of the two adjoining activity on the two adjoining lots, that it would be a good opportunity to fix the boulder
Yeah,
wall,
that's not an
if
issue.
that's an interest to the agency.
I think
We'll
that
fix
sounds like a
we'll
great
fix that no
idea.
matter what. I mean, I'll do
Okay.
that no matter what.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions? So I think what we need is, it sounded like we needed a plan that was the planting plan that shows the correct amount of plants.
I could send that to you right now because I do have it.
We'll confirm
Okay.
that.
And
then,
was there anything else we needed, Alexis?
no, just on the drainage plan, the one that, is this Wayne?
Mhm.
Looks like Wayne. It would be easiest for the next meeting when the commission is maybe looking at a draft resolution to approve, that they could refer to Wayne's engineering plan for all things with the silt fence, the drainage, the construction, and the boulder demarcation wall. And then we'd refer separately to the planting plan on a different plan. So if you could have Wayne show the boulder wall consistently 35 feet from the wetland, that would probably be best.
Okay, and I think Commissioner Knight has a question or comment.
Yeah, I just have a question if it would be helpful. I'm not sure because it's not on the plans that I've seen what the existing tree. In looking at the planting plan, it would be helpful to understand the current trees that are there. Because the trees are
One of
really
the other plans, I think it was, right?
to the water
Yeah.
course.
It's there.
Treed
Yeah,
up
I think
is it taking the nitrates out of the soil, and it's really helpful, especially if you're looking at it from whoever lives there from the algae blooms, because they're really helpful in managing that.
I think this plan, I think it was
Yep.
so these are existing trees.
Correct.
These are trees to be removed.
And then where's the 50-foot
And then
wetland
this is the 50
review
foot
area? Okay,
upland review area. Here. This dashed line, and then the dash dot dot is the 100-foot upland review area from the water course.
See, that's the most recent plan right there with the landscaping.
And then this is, oh, okay. Yeah,
That's
this
the
one
most
actually has
recent.
a little bit less plants in it. That's why I wanted to talk to you.
This one has less plants?
Yeah, so the buffer is wider, but it actually has less plants.
Then you must
wanna
have- Hold on, let me
make
see
sure.
this one.
So it
I'm
has
looking
4 more shrubs, but less trees and less perennials.
Let's see here. Can we open that up? 1, 3, 3. Okay, so this is, I have this one here, so 80. Yep, I'm gonna send you this one right now, because this has
Okay.
the updated trees. So let me send that to you right now. Now.
and Commissioner Knight, do you have another comment or question? Oh, okay, just making sure.
I think we're nearly there.
All right, so I just sent it to you. Hopefully you get it. Because it looks like, I'm looking at it right now, and I could just rattle off a couple numbers to you. We added 80, sorry, but I don't even know how to say these words. Tararella.
Right.
Okay, we added 80 of those. Let's see here, we have the 10, and then we have 100, and then we have 36. Okay, that's good. I'm just looking at the plant list now, and then 1, and then 3. Cercis, I'm sorry for the.
You know, I had a hard time with your last name, but I can I'm able to pronounce this. I don't know how it all works.
And
But yeah,
then we,
no, that's-
yeah, then we added 13 ilex. And we changed from 18 to 17 CLETHRA. So, and then we added, so I think that's it, but
yeah,
it should be in your
that
email.
seems to be the corrected,
Yes.
Okay.
the increase. Yeah, okay. All right.
Is there
so-
a reason behind the boulder demarcation towards the other property? There are no plantings.
That's really, there's no water course over there. It's just, how do you want to explain it? It's very rocky. It's all rocks above ground. I mean, you have some skunk cabbage. You really can't see it, but the little bridge up top there, Yep, that one. There is landscaping buffer there now that was for the other house
Okay.
in that corner.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from this what,
Right.
So, okay.
It looks like that area is seeded, though.
That is seeded, correct? It's
It just doesn't have the shrubs or
no shrubs.
trees.
But if you're looking, like I said, if you see the little white corner, how can I explain it? Yeah, right there. That's all has landscaping. That has, I think, 4 or 5 trees there, like 6 or 7 bushes from the other
Right.
lot. That was approved. That's been done.
Great. Well, if we don't have any more comments, maybe next meeting we could see a memorandum from Alexis on these.
Mhm. Okay. And so applicant, I'll touch base with you. I'm not in the office tomorrow, but by the end of the week, I'll just touch base with you. I'll give you a list of it's a very short list of just the your email just came in. And we'll make sure that we're all set for the meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay, great. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, thank you.
Okay, so moving on to S24-638, 473 Connecticut Avenue, the city of Norwalk. WPCA.
All right, so this is WPCA's proposal to remove the dated existing pump station this is a sanitary sewer pump station. Remove it out of the floodplain and in very close proximity to the Keeler's Brook, which is a tributary to the 5 Mile River. And it's still operating within, well, a new pump station is proposed further west of the water course as far away as it can be, with still being on the land where there is a lease available and all the other existing infrastructure goes into that pump station. So at the receipt of the application at the last meeting, there were minimal comments. So I did include a draft resolution to approve, but you are, there's,
Okay.
it's up to you what you want to do.
Okay.
And the applicant is here if you need her.
Okay. Does anyone?
Hello, hi,
Would you
thank
like
you.
to?
Hello. Thanks for coming. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you,
or
thank you so much.
Comments for the applicant? Okay.
Sure. I can make a motion to approve.
Okay. I'll
If we're
second that.
there, unless anybody else does. Sorry if I didn't
Nope.
give enough time.
Nope. I'll second the motion for S24-638, 473 Connecticut Ave in the memorandum as written. Any more discussion? Okay, we can take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. It's unanimous.
All right. So we'll send you a permit probably on Thursday, and then you can pick up your zoning stuff and go ahead and make an appointment with the building department.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the commission. We really appreciate it.
You.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay, so we'll move on to enforcement actions. V24-1062, 646 West Cedar Street. Savleva
is
and CLP.
moving Miss Sablier, sorry if I bludgeoned your name, I invited her to move over as a panelist. And so I'll just quickly go over what a show cause hearing is. So again, anytime that our office issues an enforcement order, state statute requires that a show cause hearing be available to the respondents of the order within 10 days of my issuance of that order. And let me just go that file up so that I can put it on the screen. I'll just be toggling back and forth here for a minute. So on May 1st, I'll put this up on the screen.
April 10th, I believe.
On May 1st, so the way that it will work is for a show cause hearing, the staff explains why we issued an order and just kind of describes the circumstances of the issuance of the order. And then the respondent, and there are two respondents, which I'll further discuss in a minute. They'll have the chance to show cause or to give you additional information as to why they don't believe there is a violation or any special circumstances that I don't know about to help you determine if there was a wetland violation. So, and my apologies, commissioners, I don't think that I included, usually I try to include all of the enforcement orders in your packet, and I think I failed to do that this time. So this is the letter that I sent on May 1st, 2024. You'll note that it went to a variety of parties. So the first is Miss Saviljeva. And again, my apologies if I bludgeoned that. She is the listed owner of number 325 West Cedar Street. And then I also sent the order to Mr. Shodak, who is the CEO of Connecticut Light and Power Company, and to Mr. Lintner, who is the administrator for Eversource, which is a subsidiary of Connecticut Light and Power. He's the administrator of the real estate and property management team and is based in Berlin, Connecticut. The activities cited occurred on the property known as 464 West Cedar Street. 464 West Cedar Street is owned by Connecticut Light and Power. The owners of 325 West Cedar Street also were listed on the order because it was fairly clear that they were the ones that were conducting the work that was in violation of the wetland regulations. So both parties are cited and both parties would be considered responsible. And the order was issued for the deposition of fill adjacent to a wetland. As previously noted, it was first observed in April 2024. There are dump trucks with fill material that were coming in through 325 West Cedar Street to access 464 West Cedar Street and then deposit the material on 464 West Cedar Street, very proximal to a wetland and a water course as well. The order also notes that there are previous unresolved enforcement orders issued in both 2018 and 2021 that cited also the deposition of fill, the installation of stone walls, and the expansion of lawn and adjacent to a wetland water course, again conducted by the residents of 325 West Cedar Street and occurring on 464 West Cedar Street. And so the order directs the parties to stop all work and to install sedimentation erosion controls at the limit of fill, to apply for a corrective action permit by June 18th that illustrates the removal of the fill and restoration of the impacted wetland and adjacent areas. The third directive just again reiterates that the respondents are directed to remove all fills, walls, and construction debris deposited within the wetland, and to restore the impacted wetland and watercourse area, but they cannot do that until they receive a approved wetland permit. And fourth, it clarifies that the directives include implementing completely all mitigation activities that are proposed and conditioned by any approved corrective action permit. I will note tonight that CLNP is not present. I'll quickly share. Let's see if this loads. So this is just a map showing West Cedar Street. This is Olive Lane. Olive Lane backs up just to get to your bearings. To the further south is Connecticut Avenue, and the Coles. What else is in Cole? That's that plaza, shopping plaza on Route 1. Just across the street from the Keeler Brook pump station is Route 1, and then you have the back of these properties on Olive Lane, and then these properties on Olive Lane, and then you have 325 West Cedar Street. So this is the city right-of-way. 325 West Cedar Street is, this is not a survey. I'll show you a survey in a moment, but it gives you the approximate confines of the property. And then this property here is a CLNP. The purple line is the lines, and then these two, this symbol is the towers that hold up the power lines. This is actually from 2018 when there was fill in these two areas here.
Sorry, Alexis, is that an easement from?
Nope, it's not an easement. This is CLNP land.
Oh, it is
There-
their property into, okay.
There is no easement.
Yep, okay. Got it.
And then my computer is very slow. This was a survey actually submitted by the residents or the owners of 325 West Cedar Street in 2018. This is a survey. So this is the limits of 325 West Cedar Street. This area in the front is actually owned by the city of Norwalk. It's part of the right-of-way. And then this is owned by CLNP. The wetlands were field delineated by Otto Thiel, at least just a portion of them. And again, this is in 2018, fill here, and then fill here. And so it's this area where the new activity has continued. So this wall that was picked up by the 2018 survey, it has since extended. And I'll show you some aerial photos of that. And the most recent filling happened in approximately this location at the end of what is now the end of the wall. I'm going to have to stop sharing and then share photos. Laptop is thinking. Okay. So this is the view from West Cedar Street. These were taken in April of this year. So this is the current activity. This is the towers that I had pointed out on the GIS map with the lines. You may recall, I think we discussed it when CLMP was doing the work. These are the distribution lines. So these are different than just the power lines that go to the homes. The distribution lines are Eversource's lines that distribute power to their substations. Last, I think it was in the fall, if I recall, they have a lot of liberty as a public utility to do work, including work within wetlands. And you might recall that I certainly recall because I got tons of calls. They, being Eversource, did a significant amount of what they call line maintenance work and tree clearing underneath their distribution lines. So they have cleared under their lines. Acknowledge that. But this is the wall. This is the some of the previous fill, and then this is the additional fill that is cited in this order. Outer, there we go. So again, the wall, and then fill material on top of previous fill material. And then the last thing that I will try to show, my computer lets me. It's an aerial photo. It's loading, sorry.
And these are the towers that are replacing.
What's that?
These are the towers they're replacing.
Those are not in their replacement, no.
Oh,
Not that I'm aware of.
okay.
So I'm sorry, going back to the wetland, where is the fill in relation to the wetland?
Yeah, I'm going to show an aerial photo if my computer. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. This is not. Okay, here we go.
And Catherine, do you have a question?
Yeah, I apologize. I have to exit. I'd emailed her, Alexis. Am I needed for the
Oh.
quorum of this? Because I don't know that we're voting.
You are. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll be extremely quick then. So this is actually a March 22nd, 2024 aerial photograph that shows a machine, and you can see the areas of recent kind of movement, and the end of the wall is right here. Oops, sorry. And I'm just going to go through time. So this is again the wall. This is 2023 when there was no work going on. Again, this is the end of the wall in March 2023. There was, it looks like some film material that was deposited. 2022. In March 2022, there was again more filling and disturbance along the wall. The wetland is in this location here. We'll go back to the survey if needed. This is work in October 2021. In March of 2021, the wall ended in this location here. So about a 64-foot expansion since March 2021, which was when the other order was issued. And I'll just go back to the original order. This is 2019, 2018, 2018, and 2017. So that is due to the proximity of the continued filling adjacent to the wetland and water course, which is within the upland review area. We sent an order and cited both CLNP, the property owner, and Ms. Salvia, the adjacent property owner, who it appears conducted the work. That concludes my description. So you are welcome to provide the agency any additional information.
Yes, I apologize. I didn't realize I could submit some information prior to the meeting. So here's what I have. In regards to one of the questions from Heather Breslin, yes, Eversource is doing the project. It's called Norwalk to Ravaton Upgrade project. They are replacing all of these towers, and I believe, and they will have the meeting with us later in May. They said they're gonna put the towers right actually on the wetlands. So they're gonna remove this tower and they're gonna put the poles also high voltage. And this is gonna be exactly in the wetlands area. And I guess I'm sure they will receive PURA and Connecticut City Council approval because they are Eversource. So yes, those towers are going to be replaced. In regards of the prior notices that you were showing, corrective actions were implemented, and we hired the surveyor, and we provided the survey map. And so, like, when my husband was dealing with it, so and he's not present right now. So corrective actions were implemented in regards of those. So those were in the past. In regards of the current violation, no violation was done. Nothing was dumped on the wetlands. In reality, what is happening, Eversource told us to remove some of our things from their property because they are planning to install the fence. So we had a couple things on their property, and we had a pile of topsoil, the one that was, I guess, seen on the photo as well. And the actual point was to get some fill and some more topsoil and to evenly distribute it over our property. So, and that's what was done on April 10th. But the issue goes far beyond the fill and the topsoil, and I believe, and this issue has been addressed with Vanessa Valadares as well. The next day it happened. This is town of Norwalk employees, Paul Stotnick and Paul Zays, who is our neighbor living in 11 Olive Lane, right behind us. They have been discriminating us for many years for unknown reasons to us, and since I didn't realize that I can submit them some documentation prior, so I'm just going to read the email that I sent to Vanessa Valadares, which pretty much summarizes what was going on that day. So we have this is like what I sent to Ms. Valadares. We have a very serious complaint on Paul Stotnick. Yesterday, April 10th, we had some topsoil delivered to our property. We were working on evenly distributing it over our land. Suddenly, two of Public Works employees show up at our door. One was Paul Stotnick, and the other one was his assistant, I believe. Paul Stadnik starts to aggressively yell at my husband, Fyodor Kachanu, that we were supposed to get a permit for this fill and topsoil. So originally, the issue was not about the wetlands. It was about the permit for fill and topsoil. My husband
Right.
explained that, and yes, and I believe the issue went further, which it should not. My husband explained that less than 40 yards of fill was delivered, so no permit is needed. Paul Stadnik becomes very mad and starts yelling that he will make problems for us and expressed inappropriate behavior as a town employee, and that's what he did. This is not the first time Paul Stadnik aggressively behaves towards our family. About 5 years ago, he also showed up on our property when my husband was doing some work with all the permits, and he was harassing, screaming, yelling, and aggressively behaving towards him. At that
Okay,
time,
I think that, you know, kind of what happened 5 years ago is probably not as relevant to what's going
it was
on
the same.
now.
It was the same employee. That's
So-
why I'm referencing that.
Okay,
At
okay.
that time, but at that
Thank
time, we
you.
let it go. But because the same situation happened yesterday, we cannot stay silent and asking you to take actions and keep us informed. Another person who could be involved in this is Paul Zace, Town of Norwalk Mechanical Inspector, who is also our neighbor and likes to complain on us for no reason. That's why I'm saying that something, it goes beyond the topsoil, it goes beyond Eversource. It just, it never
So
stops.
really what we're concerned about is the wetland, though.
I understand, yes,
at
I
the
totally
end of the day.
understand, but
And-
what I'm concerned as well, yes, I totally understand. But what I'm concerned is that if it just keeps they just keep creating issues for us for no reason. And I can assure you that no fill was dumped ever into the wetlands. And I'll be quick. I'm almost done.
So, topsoil would be considered fill. Anything,
Okay,
any kind
topsoil
of
slash fill,
material.
yes, but we didn't dump into the like anything into the wetlands. Like I can assure you that. So it was evenly distributed over our property,
Just
over our land.
the comment, sorry, I have to exit,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
want you to, if
So
you
I
want
think that sorry, I
shut
think
off,
we'll need to table this to the next meeting.
That's
But
fine.
because we're not really hearing
I'm-
complaints about behavior that you have or grievances about specific
Right,
individuals.
I understand, but
We're
this
here because there's a specific evidence that we've seen that Alexis just showed us about topsoil that went within the upland review area as well as into the wetlands. So
what Alexis showed were the old photos and the corrective actions were taken. We did
No,
not dump
those
any
photos were from
topsoil
April.
slash fill
Those
on
photos were
April
from
10th.
April 2024.
We have no reason to do that on April 10th. I mean, this year. We have no reason to put anything into the wetlands. And specifically, as you already mentioned, the issue with trees cutting down that Eversource did back in October 2023, they did more damage. They were driving their heavy equipment trucks over the
it's not a-
wetlands and like nothing. Nobody's concerned, right?
Okay. I think we're gonna table this, so, I think, we'll see you next meeting, and we'll take a look at this, show cause again, and, we'll review it once more, so.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank you for attending. Sorry,
Yes,
we
thank you
can't
for
look at it
inviting for,
in more depth
I
tonight.
believe no reason. I'm sorry, but no reason.
Okay, so Commissioner Knight, you have to leave?
yeah, sorry, I have
Okay,
a birthday.
that's, okay. Wait, your birthday?
Happy birthday to me.
Oh,
Happy
dear.
birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
It's my husband's
What,
birthday
this isn't
too.
how you pictured spending it?
But I'm committed to you all, even if
You
we're
must be.
They
You
Yeah,
must
right.
be.
real life.
All
I'm
right,
only
so I think I
Alexis.
heard a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second, okay.
So wait,